Last night in the late session of the state quarterfinals, it was Bureau Valley storming out to a 15-2 first quarter lead over Macomb and never looking back. Ruben Slock leading the Storm to a 65-51 state quarterfinal victory. Next up, Pana. Pana eliminated the tallest team in the tournament, Farmington. The 1-2 pop of Jake Sinclair and Justin Trake was too much for the Farmers. Pana wins at 66-62. They'll play in the semis against Bureau Valley.
We await the second state semifinal. Pana and Bureau Valley waiting for a date opposite Pinckneyville in tonight's championship game. Welcome back to Carver Arena. Pinckneyville already in. Pana and Bureau Valley vying to be the other state finalist tonight. Third place game was at 6:30. The championship tonight is at 8:15. But all eyes are on this game between Pana and Bureau Valley. And for more on it, let's throw it courtside to the guys who'll be calling the play-by-play, Jim Albrecht and Doug Altenberger.
Thanks a lot, Kurt. We're one game away from the biggest game of the year. Everybody targets the state championship game, of course, a dream for many, but a reality for Bureau Valley because Bureau Valley hasn't been tested yet. The number 2 team in the state has not been tested on the tournament trail. They may get a test today.
Well, they came out with a lot of experience yesterday. Set the tone early. Really were very aggressive, especially defensively. They sort of live and die by that 1-3-1 trap. So they're going to try to do that again against Pana today.
And, of course, Pana came out yesterday and had this whole crowd buzzing. They dropped down 10 bombs from the outside. If they can get that three-point production, they can beat Farmington and maybe they can beat Bureau Valley.
Well, Pana lives and dies behind the three-point line. They don't have really the strength or the depth to go on the front line with Bureau Valley. So that's a key for them to handle the pressure. Then if Bureau Valley's towards the gamble, make them pay the price.
And, of course, if you enjoy the game of basketball, you enjoy watching Ruben Slock. First, of course, let's take a look at the road to Peoria here for these two teams. As we said, Bureau Valley has not had a test at all. Everything pretty much in their favor. They got out early last night against Macomb, of course, and they rolled in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and Bureau Valley, again, they took advantage of a young team, Macomb, took care of it, used their experience, and really got out in that first quarter, and Macomb could never come back.
And, of course, that half-court trap really helped out. Then, of course, Pana, as we mentioned, had that great game against Farmington yesterday. You almost felt bad for Farmington because they played lights out as well. Somebody had to lose, and it turned out to be Farmington.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like each team, one after another, was knocking down the threes. Here you see Bureau Valley, and this guy really was explosive. Ruben Slock was the guy, was the key. Everything is dictated off this guy. Don't forget about the points. He brings all the intangibles. He brings the heart of Bureau Valley.
Yeah, he doesn't know where he wants to go to college. He wants to take care of business first. And, of course, on the other side, they've got a couple of guys from the outside. And we have to start with Mr. Sinclair, the guard, because he is the distributor. Everybody talks about the points that Strake's putting up, but Sinclair had 8 assists yesterday.
Well, they're a dynamic duo together. You know, Sinclair gives you, again, another coach out on the floor. He's a guy that he's the quarterback out there. Everything sort of feeds off him, and he'll have his hands full. Bureau Valley is going to try to put a lot of pressure on Pana.
And, of course, all Strake has done is drop home 75 points in the last 2 games. So let's take a look at what Bureau Valley has to do to get it done and get to the championship game. Of course, they lost in the semifinals last year. They want to get over that hurdle.
Well, they know they're going to look at that one half-court trap. They've got to be able to make Bureau Valley pay the price when they gamble, and that's where they've got to hit those threes behind the line.
And, of course, for Pana, it's a game of 3-ball. If they have their 3-ball, well, they'll be in this thing. And it's not something that you necessarily coach all the time, but when somebody's got the hot hand like a Strake or a Sinclair, you go.
Yeah, they've just got to contain Bureau Valley. They've got to rebound the ball as a team, and then they've got to find their rhythm offensively.
And, of course, Pierre Pierce will not be in the championship game tonight because Pinckneyville took care of that. We were joking before we went off the air last night that Dick Korn, who's been around for 26 years at Pinckneyville, was going to come up with some kind of game plan, and his game plan was pretty simple as it turned out. Let Pierre get his, nobody else gets anything.
Yeah, they shut down Stedman, which is a key for them. Westmont really struggled offensively. The shots that went down yesterday, they really struggled with. They got behind, and Pinckneyville just took care of business in the second half.
And, of course, we'll see what kind of mindset Pana comes out in. It should be a very interesting game. Of course, Bureau Valley is going to be the favorite here. They've only lost 1 time all year. That to Fulton back in January. So they're on a roll. Their mission is still here. But Pana is standing between them and the goal of a state championship. We'll come back, see how it all turns out after this on the IHSA TV Network.
emergency, only Country Insurance gives you immediate advice from a claims authority. Country Insurance. Real people, real answers, real quick.
There you see the situation. Bureau Valley, as we said, on that roll, 32-1, but Pana comes in, they're on a roll of their own as well, 28-4, and of course, you can't measure how much confidence Pana came away with yesterday after beating a much taller Farmington team, and I'm telling you, I didn't go to the doctor today and ask him this, but a couple of those guys on Pana, I'm not sure about a pulse, because they had ice in their veins when they were drilling those threes all the way till the final minute.
Yeah, and there you see Gary Boker. I mean, he's a guy that it got tight down the stretch, and his senior leadership stepped up, those guys, the guards, and really made the free throws, the clutch plays down the stretch, and that's what you prepare for as a coach during practice, going through everything, and they really responded and just stepped up. And Pana is a team, like we said, doesn't have a lot of strength and size, but they've got great guard play. And you talk about Gary Boker, and of course he calls his last 2 years kind of a dream, because of course he came to Pana, and look at that record after 2 years of 51-10 right now, coming into the semifinals. Hello, fans. And of course there's over 11,000 tickets sold today for this semifinal round, and tonight of course we will have the championship game for you as Pinckneyville faces either Pana or Bureau Valley, and we're going to find out who's on the floor today, who's on the bench, and who these teams are. Here's your PA announcer, Paul Herzog.
Storm of 32-1, and the Pana Panthers 28-4. Let's meet the starting lineups. For Bureau Valley, 6'6" senior, number 4, Ruben Slock. At a forward for Pana, a 5'10" senior, 21, Brian McMillan. The other forward for the Storm, a 6'2" junior, number 12, Adam Gutschall. The other forward for the Panthers, a 6'3" senior, number 32, J.I. McDowell. At center for Bureau Valley, a 6'5" senior, number 52, Mike Behrens. At center for Pana, a 6'5" junior, number 33, Josh Evans. At a guard for the Storm, a 6'1" senior, number 20, John Elliott. At a guard for the Panthers, a 6'1" junior, 23, Justin Schrate. The other guard for Bureau Valley, a 6'3" junior, number 32, Philip Endres. The other guard for Pana, 6' senior, number 24, Jake Sinclair. Head coach for Bureau Valley, Brad Bickett. It's his 11th season of coaching, 6 at Bureau Valley, where he's 120-53. Head coach for Pana High School in his second year, where he's 51-10, Gary Boker.
Nobody wants to play for third, not when you're here.
Well, I mean, everybody plays for the championship, and you get this close, and you want to play Saturday night, and both these teams have played with a lot of heart and desire and a little luck to get here. And today, you know, like we talked about, this is the second game in less than 24 hours. So right now, the first and second quarters is okay, but that third and fourth quarter, you just sort of reach down, and whoever wants it the most. See Brad Pickett, head coach for Bureau Valley.
He, of course, knows what it's like to be in a state championship game, having played for Ohio, one of the smallest schools to ever get to the state championship game. Let's take a look at the starting five. Misters Elliott and Endres, pair of fine guards. Ruben Slock, the All-Stater, and Adam Gutschall and Mike Behrens. There you see Schrake and Sinclair. Will they bomb from the outside or get some help from McMillan, McDowell, and their mates? Jim Albrecht along with Doug Altenberger. And the tip is controlled by Behrens. Bureau Valley, rated number 2 in the state. The only loss, as I said earlier, to Fulton, and it was a blowout. One of those nights, according to Brad Pickett. Here's a drive, and it's blocked. John Elliott had his shot blocked, but hustling after it is the All-Stater Slock. Here's Slock with a good look.
Again, he picks up the loose ball, floats to that outside, knocks down the three. And again, we talked about your guy setting the tone, your leader. I don't know how much else you can do to hit a three from downtown.
Here's McMillan outside. He got three. Well, that's a welcome source. He only averages 6.
And Pana loves to, three-point. They loved it for this game to become a three-point contest. That's their strength.
Elliott looking for Slock. He wants this one. That's a tough shot. In and out. Rebound. High for the rebound is Gutschall, and he traveled. Or a jump ball. That'll be the call. And Adam Gutschall had a fine quarterfinal game yesterday against Macomb, knocking down 12 points. That's so big, Doug, when you get somebody to contribute that you're not really counting on. I mean, you count on parts of their game, their defense, and their transition, and they're getting the ball into the right hands of their mates, but then they can get double digits. Here's a wide open man underneath, and he blew the basket. J.I. McDowell did not get it to fall, and he's got to forget about that right now. McDowell and Sinclair are step brothers. Been playing basketball together for a long time. Endress bombs away, not there. Ball tipped out of bounds. Last touch, they say, by the men in blue. Bureau Valley will have to go back on defense as we are just underway with a pair of threes on the board.
And you expect that from Pana. I mean, they're going to look for it. Again, here, Bureau Valley coming out into that 1-3-1 trap. Sometimes they go soft. Sometimes they'll go hard with the double team and try to force turnovers.
Outside is Schrake, not this time. And the rebound comes out long to John Elliott. Three-point shooters, they just got to get into their rhythm. That's what it's all about. Not that they will stop shooting it if they miss a couple, because that's what got them here, but it's all about feel at this point. Down low it goes to Behrens. The big man is rejected inside, and out comes Schrake with the basketball. Pana holding off Bureau Valley's offense for the time being. McDowell, who has the only bucket, will give it up. Josh Evans wearing number 33. You'll see him inside the paint. He also contributes offensively at about 10 per game.
Nice adjustment by Sinclair. Bureau Valley goes man-to-man. He pulls it back out.
McDowell can't buy that one. Rebound back up and in by Josh Evans, who I was just talking about.
Yeah, like you talked about, if you can get some scoring from those guys, more role players like Evans, great shot.
John Elliott slicing down the lane. He had 15 yesterday against Macomb.
Yeah, he played really well against Macomb. Macomb came out with that pressure, and he responded with 15 points. And
Sinclair back out to McDowell. He can't find the mark. He's 0 for 3, and we'll have a foul as Behrens grabs the rebound.
McDowell missed that shot, but Sinclair comes right at half court, gives him a pat on the back. Let's keep going. Don't get down on yourself.
Foul on Schrake. First foul in this ball game for either team. Checking into the ball game is Steve Carroll, the 5'7", 145 senior, wearing number 20 and guarding the ball. Yeah, Elliott doesn't give up the ball much. When you got a point guard who doesn't turn it over, long bomb, not there. As Endress comes up short, and both teams a little cold here in the early going with 4:50 remaining in the first quarter. Sinclair over to Schrake, blocked from behind by Elliott. And on the floor, we'll have a jump ball. That was good hustle by the guards.
Sure, Endress came over too, tried to get that loose ball, kept it alive, tipped it away.
This IHSA broadcast is being brought to you by Country Insurance. Real people, real answers, real quick. And by the Midwest Dairy Association on behalf of your local dairy farmers. The power of cheese. There's the tale of the two cities. Of course, Bureau Valley made up of that consolidation of 4 schools. Population, well, that one has to go to Pana on that part of the scoreboard. And enrollment just about the same. And if you don't know about Pana, they're known as the Garden City because they have a lot of greenhouses, the Rose City. And I think they need the greenhouse effect today from the outside. Time to warm up. Time to warm up, baby.
Well, it's warming up outside. It's finally getting above 50. And these teams, we're all waiting for them to start heating it up. And You know Pana is going to keep shooting those three, and Bureau Valley, they'll take what the defense gives them.
And there, of course, is the other half of what makes this tournament so great. The Fanatics. And Pinckneyville, let me tell you, they made a lot of noise in the first game. As Pinckneyville upended number 3 Westmont. Got out in front early and stayed there. Westmont never really got close. This is Phil Endress with a basketball. One of their talented guards, slicing, wants the floater, doesn't get it. Ball fought for, and out of there with it comes Sinclair. He also rebounds, if we didn't mention that. See Slock covering up Shrake, and that's going to be his assignment for a while. But Shrake will force, and that's a bad shot. Slock had it for a second. It went off him and out of bounds, so it'll belong to Pana.
Okay, got to pick your spots. That's the key. Right there, Shrake just forcing it, going against the 6'6" Slock. That's a tough shot for him. Doesn't quite have the size or leaping ability to go over the top.
Shrake has hit 91 3-pointers on the year, and here's a dangerous pass, but after it is Sinclair. Stopped from 14, too short. And Elliott looking at the floor and looking for his buddy Slock. Down low they go to Gutzel. Nice pass across the lane to Mike Behrens. Just a good drop pass and a good look.
Yeah, good bounce pass in the interior. Hard for big guys to pick that up. Behrens showing that he's got great hands.
You see the time, of course, periodically on the right lower corner of your screen, keeping you updated on this ball game with Bureau Valley holding the narrow lead. Carroll doesn't get it, and the rebound comes down to John Elliott, the senior guard.
The Bureau Valley went man-to-man on a couple series. Surprise, Pana went with that 1-3-1 zone.
Endress for 3. The junior, who's had a season high of 27. And wasn't heard from much yesterday in terms of offense with only 4 points. Picking it up early here. And now Pana, down by 5, turns it over.
Now Bureau Valley makes a couple shots down in the end. Go with a little momentum, start extending their defense, looking for those turnovers.
The Storm on a 7-0 run right now. Or should we call it a storm warning? I guess that would be a good defensive play there by Josh Evans. And we got a jump ball, and the arrow is pointing the way of Pana. That's one of the hardest things to do defensively is defend a big man in the post, because you can't just leave him in front of you all the time. Otherwise, you're going to get burned, especially with a guy like Slock. So you got to take your chances and come out front, just like Evans did, and batted it away.
Yeah, good defense by Pana. They front Slock and then get help from behind them.
Sinclair had an idea, and the idea was to find J. Al McDowell, but it turned out to be a bad idea.
Yeah, right now Payne's struggling a little bit. Again, Bureau Valley's starting to change their defense. They went soft early in the first quarter here. Didn't really extend the defense. Now they're starting to get in the passing lanes. Payne is struggling a little bit, turning over a couple times here in the series.
And of course, everybody in that little town of Manlius is watching John Elliott hit a jumper and put their Bureau Valley Storm team up with their biggest margin at 12-5. And this is the point in the game, just as we saw in game 1 of the semifinals, where you better get it together. Bureau Valley right behind Pleasant Plains, and of course Macomb knocked off Pleasant Plains and ended their run for 2 consecutive state championships. Only one team has ever pulled off 2 in Class A, and that of course was Lawrenceville. Pinckneyville will be in the championship game, rated number 11, and Pana just getting in the top 16. But you know what ratings mean right now, right, Doug?
Yeah, they don't mean a darn thing. Right now, Pana really struggling with their floor balance. Guys are getting sort of grouped up together. No one's in there, and they're having a hard time making adjustments.
Here's a drive by Carroll, not there. Hustling after the rebound is McDowell. He'll put it up, and he'll be called for the charge. Boy, that turned out all bad for Pana. And the Panthers at 28-4.
Well, Jim, when someone's trapping you, you've got to get someone in the middle of the court. Right now, Pana's got 3 guys on the perimeter. One of those have got to get in the free throw line area so that when they double team, he can slash the basket or can be a release valve. So right now, the matchup or the series that they're running offensively isn't going to give Bureau Valley much problems defensively.
Endress handles the ball so well out front. And here's the jumper by Behrens. A 9-point bulge for Bureau Valley, just as they did last night against Macomb. They come out, take command, and if you're a coach, I guess you can't get any better than that.
Well, Andrus, I mean, you talked about Ruben Slock. You think how great he is, but now he's starting to assert himself. Goes out there, 6'3", and he goes right over the top. There you see their Bureau Valley's record, 21-1. It seems like, Jim, all these teams that once the Christmas break was over and then they started into the new year, they all went 21-1 or 18-2 or 19-1, and that's where coaches understand what's okay. We've tried some different things early in the year, November. Now let's get back to the basics, and then boom, they're off and running.
And also factored in is that holiday tournament trail, the shootouts. I mean, sometimes you go up, play Double-A competition, you play some of the best teams in the state, and you don't mind a loss at that point. A loss there is fine as long as it adds up to a win here.
Yeah, a lot of good coaches, what they do is they lose some games early on, trying to figure some things out, see what, bring the team to what their strengths and weaknesses are. Once they find that out and test those guys, and they respond. And all these teams that are down here state right now, that's one consistency, one thing going through. They're all, ever since January and February, have tremendous records.
Well, there's two words you don't want to hear if you're that guy: stone cold. And we're not talking about WWF here. 4 minutes now without a point for Pana. And Gary Boker cannot coach shooting touch.
Well, and the reason is Shrake and Sinclair are 0 for 4 in the game. Haven't had a lot of looks. Again, they're really struggling with Ruben Slock. We talk about the points he scores, but that's not where his strength is. Right now, it's defense, and he is creating havoc. As Sislick sits, he comes out the point of attack and creates very difficult matchup problems.
When he spreads those wings at half court, he looks like an albatross if you're the other team, right around your neck. Long jumper, Shrake needs it, doesn't get it, rebounds, fought for, McMillan back up and got it. Big bucket, ends the 4-minute drought. Pana is going to check in with some fresh bodies. J.A. McDowell is coming back in here in a second as soon as there's a timeout on the floor. Slock has only taken 2 shots today. He's that kind of player. He doesn't force it. Why? When 4 of your teammates are bombing, that one won't go for Endress. Rebound. Gutsall had a block, got it back and score. Perseverance.
Well, again, that's the depth, the balance that Bureau Valley has, and if it's not Slock or some Endress or Barons and somebody else, they all step up.
And now Brian McMillan threw it away. He was looking for somebody who didn't happen to be there at the time. So with 38 seconds remaining here in the first quarter, Brad Bickett's team leads at 16-7. And there you see J.I. McDowell checking back in. Looks like Evans out. Also in Todd Byers wearing number 12 for Pana. You may have picked that up on our microphones. I want 1 shot. Make sure it's the last shot of the first quarter. Those are the instructions from Brad Bickett. In other words, don't put it up with 12 seconds left.
Let's see how good of listeners they are.
I remember being young once. Listening wasn't on my priority list at the point.
I only had to repeat it 3 or 4 times for me.
If I had $1 for every time my parents told me, how many times do I have to tell you, I'd be driving your car. Down to 10. Here we go. Elliott will force Hang, and he won't hit it. And let's see, they have 4 seconds remaining, and we've got a whistle and a foul against Bureau Valley. Not what Brad Bickett wanted to end the first quarter with, but exactly what Pana needed. It won't be a shooting foul, but they do have a chance for a long bomb here. Watch our Hail Marys, says Brad Bickett. He's not talking about getting on your knees and praying them. He's talking about watching that long pass. They won't get that. Here we go. Sinclair stops. Good run down the court. Got it! Now that's a basketball player, ladies and gentlemen. He knew exactly how much time he had. He knew what spot on the floor he wanted to go to, and he got it done. 16-10. Pana back with a flourish. We are back after these local messages.
it is. Kirk feeds one high to Cassie Russell, who was wide open underneath, and the ball rolls off. Carver's ball, as Big Joe Allen came down with a rebound. It was knocked out of his hands by Jim Johnson.
Cassie Russell. Well, maybe he did this a few times. Watch Mr. Sinclair measure things up.
Yeah, we talked about how cool and calm he is, Jim, in the open, and he came down there. He knew there was 4.4 seconds. Didn't do it. Got down to where he is, almost like he had a stopwatch in his right in front of him, and pulled up and nailed. That was a big three. I mean, Pana really needed something to turn around that first quarter. You can see Gary Boker is really frustrated. Guys didn't really play that well, and needs Sinclair and Shrake to get going offensively if they want to have a chance.
Well, you asked the question, was Bureau Valley listening about the last shot of the quarter? And the question was not answered positively.
They didn't get a passing grade.
Endress out front. Only a junior at 6'3". Controls the basketball very well. Slock. They're trying to look inside to Gutsall. And now they go back up top to Endress. No. Pana with the rebound. Tony Pinkston in the game. Here's a long jumper way off, and Shrake. Oh, there's a good hustle. Good hustle. And who's going to get that basketball? That is good hustle on the part of Pana. Todd Byers made that play by banging it off the knee of Bureau Valley, and Shrake is way off the mark right now, but as most good shooters will do, he'll work at it till he finds it.
Yeah, Troy Pinkston for Pana took one right on the face.
Nice pass down low to J.I. McDowell, gets on the board, and suddenly that big lead that Bureau Valley had in the final minute of the first quarter has shrunk down to 4.
Yeah, McDowell doing a great job on Slock, really controlling him. Slock getting a little frustrated out there.
Slock doesn't get the roll. Pana has the rebound. Here comes Byers. Nobody's going to contest him. He'll fire and won't hit it. That would have been a sweet basket for Pana. He had to take the shot. It was there.
You get a wide open 12-footer. Got to knock it down.
Elliott knocks it down from 3 to counter.
Well, John Elliott really playing with a lot of confidence offensively out there.
Elliott had 27 points in the first 2 games of this state tournament, the super sectional, and of course the quarterfinal. So he's finding his stroke, averaging 11 points per ball game. This is Sinclair looking to penetrate, kicks it back out to Shrake, who almost lost the handle. And now Sinclair will set for McDowell. Over it goes to Byers. They'll just go around the horn. And again, if you watch Slock at the top of this key on the zone defense, he sets the tone and causes turnovers like that.
Yeah, I'm amazed by his recovery. I mean, he goes all the way to the baseline, bounce up top of the key. He is very active defensively in that 1-3-1 zone.
Well, it would appear that if Pana doesn't get their threes going, they got some serious problems. Behrens fighting down low, puts it up. He's fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line. And Pana's not a big team, so if you go down low and post them all day, they're going to really be in dire straits. We'll take a look at the 6'5", 200-pound senior working underneath.
Yeah, Brad Pickett, when he brings his A game, Brad said the Barons we're a whole different team. I mean, he gives them so much more of a solid base inside at 6'5", 200 pounds. And like you said, Jim, Pana really doesn't have much to answer to that.
Not a great free throw shooter, only 53%, but he buries that one. Checking back into the ball game is Josh Evans. Josh Evans back into the ball game for Pana. Just under 6 minutes remaining here in the first half, and that free throw doesn't go, but Slock takes advantage of the mishandled rebound. And we've got a foul on Pana. And that'll go against number 15, Troy Pinkston.
Again, Slock just really has a great nose for the basketball there after the missed free throw. Tries to track it down and then gets the turnover.
Mr. Pinkston was in the finals of the three-point contest. Of course, Doug Altenberger just eyeballed the winner before he even shot. Here's Gutshaw, and he forces the issue too much and draws the charge.
Yeah, and I tried to seduce you into just a small wager, but you didn't go for it.
Hey, I've got a long way to go home. With the price of gas, $1 a lot to me right now.
Yeah, and we found out Troy Pinkston's nickname. His mom was Pee-wee, that's right.
She was down there saying, come on, Pee-wee, bury him. And he started off really well in the three-point contest, but faltered at the end.
That's what happens with three-point shooters. You know, after a while, to be a good three-point shooter is your legs. And you can see right now, Pana a little out there, a little ragged. Again, their legs not dropping a lot of threes.
That's what they needed, though.
Yeah, and you know what? There was a good job of spacing. They got the ball into the middle. Then he broke down to the baseline, and that's what they want to do to break down Bureau Valley's trap.
That's his 92nd three-pointer of the year, so he's used to that thing, finding the net. Slock goes right inside to Behrens, who did bring his A game today.
Again, if Slock's not forcing a turnover, he's throwing a nice entry pass into the middle.
Pee-wee, yeah! Todd Pinkston.
And when you shoot the three like Pana does, you're never out of a game. Even if you're down 8 or 9 points, a couple of those and you're right back in the ball game.
First name Troy, correction, not Todd. Here's a foul out front. And if they can get Pee-wee going, well, that'll take him off the snide.
Again, he's a great three-point shooter. Was out here between the 2 games, and like you say, got off to a quick start. Couldn't get over the hump.
We're coming back with more in this semifinal game. Bureau Valley being tested by Pana. More after this on the IHSA TV network.
Third quarter of play. Before they could get a shot away. Trying to control that ball until they could get the last shot. But nothing happened to alter the score. 39-34, and we have 8 minutes left to decide which of these 2 fine teams will be the state champion for 1962.
Ah, the early 60s, when dancing was dancing.
Yeah, I think that was at Huff Gym right there. Looked like the friendly confines of.
Pana has overcome some scoring droughts here. 6:04 in the first quarter, and then of course 2:23 drought here in the second quarter. But they've responded. That's what we're talking about. You saw that graphic there, 71 points a game, and that's directly related to their ability to shoot the ball outside.
And they are shooting the ball outside, but they're doing a terrific job on the boards. 12-10 against a bigger and stronger Bureau Valley. So that's a big plus for Pana if they can stay even with them on the boards.
Here's an inlet pass to Behrens, and that is not what Gary Boker wanted done defensively. You don't want to have a gimme on an inbounds play underneath the basket, but that's exactly what Bureau Valley got, and it's 24-18.
Yeah, you want Bureau Valley to beat you behind the three-point line.
Sinclair driving, he'll go to the free throw line.
Good. Bureau Valley comes out in a man-to-man. Sinclair recognizes that. They clear out. He gets to the free throw line. Again, we talked about the point guards. There's the quarterbacks out there. They've got to understand what the defense sets are in, and he recognizes it very quickly and takes his man on the dribble.
Much is said about Justin Strake, his teammate, and well, should be, of course. Strake, of course, lit up the super section with 45 points. But if you talk to head coach Gary Boker, which I did during the shoot-around on Thursday, that, of course, Brad Pickett from Bureau Valley, Boker said, quote, Jake Sinclair is the reason we're here.
And you can see, I mean, you got to have somewhat of steadiness for you, and he provides that for them. He's sort of an extension of the coach out there.
Slock, a very quiet 3 points for Bureau Valley, averaging 17 on the year and 22 in this tournament. Ball kicked out of bounds with 4:21 remaining here in the second quarter.
And it's very important for Pana, man-to-man, when they come out, really pack it inside and make Bureau Valley take some of those shots on the perimeter. They like to slash the bucket and get to the free throw line.
Yeah, they gave up that easy one last time down. Let's see what they do defensively this time. Elliott with the skip pass. Nice block out front by Schrake, but they get it right back, and Gutzall scores. Well, that was good defense by Pana. They just didn't get the bounce.
Yeah, good job with Bureau Valley staying with it. Even when you get blocked, don't worry about that. Stay with the play. Evans is fouled from behind. A little tangle there between Mike Behrens and Josh Evans. Again, the ball goes, they swing it, they reverse it. When Pana can reverse the basketball, then get it inside, then they got a chance. But once Bureau foul, little extracurricular activity. No yellow flag, though. But when you reverse the basketball, especially when you're going against a trap like that,
There's a nice pass inside, and Sinclair ran that setup perfectly. Coming off the pick and got open on the left side, and that kind of counters the basket they gave up on the inbounds play the other way. Driving and not hitting is Phil Endress, but he will earn a trip to the free throw line.
But a lot of times when you change defenses, a lot like Bureau Valley does, man-to-man zone, sometimes you get confused. That's what happens on that out-of-bound play. Guys didn't know whether they're man-to-man or zone.
5-point bulge. Bureau Valley came out, dominated the first 6 minutes of play. Pana righted themselves, and now we're looking at a 6-point lead. Or if you're that man, a 6-point deficit. And we saw some good old schooling coaching yesterday from Gary Boker and his coaching staff in that quarterfinal game. They were getting their message across at one point in the third quarter. I thought I was the most yelled at player in high school history, but I was wrong.
Yeah, a lot of times in the heat of battle, coaches say things and things go on, but well, again, it's all, you know, all positive.
Sinclair, no. Rebound Evans. He's got to go right back up with that against 3 people, and that's what you got to do.
Well, Josh Evans coming off the bench, giving a little life to Pana. You know, he's 6'5" and about 170 pounds, and he's done some damage here in the paint.
Nathan Koenig, the sophomore, is in for Bureau Valley right now. He wears number 40. And let's see what Evans does at the free throw line. He's a 60% shooter on the year. And again, they can get some contributions from Evans, as we said, and they're going to need him today. He comes in averaging 9 points a game. Brian McMillan checking in now. Of course, he started the ball game, and he's back in at the off guard. They basically have 3 guards in there when you're talking Schrake and Sinclair and McMillan. And it's a 4-point ball game. Pana hanging tough against the number 2 team in the state. I'm Jim Albrecht, or as my 9-year-old daughter would say, I'm the short one. He's Doug Altenberger. We're glad you're along. About 3 minutes remaining here in the first half. Elliott driving, kicks it back out, down low, perfect play, and Phil Endress makes him pay.
Well, that was a nice series for Bureau Valley, senior to senior to senior.
Inside, outside. Kick it out to the wing and right back down to the post. Here's Evans driving, a tough shot. Coming away the rebound is Endress. He's a guard who plays like a forward, basically. He can post you up or burn you from outside.
Yeah, and all of Bureau Valley guys are like that. They play multiple positions, and anywhere on the court, they play more of a motion offense. They don't run a lot of set plays.
Here's Slock. No, he's off today. The rebound comes down to Evans, and Evans will gather it in, 29-23. The Panthers will set up the play. The Illini play is the call from the bench. Are you involved in that by chance, Doug?
No, I wasn't.
I thought that meant bring the former Illini guard in, but no, this is the run they're trying to make at this juncture in the game. As Schrake fakes, pulls up, hits it.
And if he can get on track for Pana, watch out. He needs a couple of those to go down for him, get his confidence back offensively.
Schrake now with 5 on the game, almost a steal out front, and it's a turnover. Schrake, and that happens a lot. You see a guy go down at the offensive end, drain one, and then come back all pumped up defensively, and that aggressive attack there causes Bureau Valley to send in a new body and give Mr. Slock a rest. And I'll tell you what, Doug Altenberger, if I told you that Slock would have all of 3 points in the first half with 1:30 remaining, and that his team would be winning by 4, I don't know if you believe me. Schrake, will he get it? Yeah! Here we go. Let the 3-pointers rain. It's a 1-point ball game. Elliott kicking it out. Endress answers. And Phil Endress looks at the ref and said, man, he had his hand on my jersey when I drained it. Come on. Sinclair looking. Can McMillan do it? Not this time, but he'll go after the rebound. Bureau Valley coming out of there with it. Good hustle by Adam Gutschall. And we are under the 1-minute mark in the first half. An interesting game so far, 32-28. Brian Bickett just as he did at the end of the first quarter, gives these instructions. Take the last shot, make it the last shot.
See if they listen a little better than they did in the first quarter.
Boy, had McMillan found the mark on that, we'd be just about dead even. Uh-oh, dangerous pass. Good hustle out there by Reed Overly in the ball game, number 44, another sophomore. So Bureau Valley has a lot left on the shelf after their seniors leave. Koenig and Overly, both sophomores. And it's time to go. And Endress says okay. Uh-oh, he's in bad position now. He's in a bad position, and now they'll just have to force. Now they're going to have to force. Elliott lets it fly. Well, that turned out to be good defense and confusion on the part of Bureau Valley as the first half comes to a close at the Peoria Civic Center with our score 32-28. And you can see some of the Pana fans are thinking, oh yeah, we got it today. We got our third pointers in line. Let's go to Kurt Pegler right now, who's standing by with Brad Bickett.
All right, Jim. Yeah, Brad Bickett, the head coach of Bureau Valley, standing by. If I'd have told you that Ruben Slock only had 3 points on the first half and you'd still be ahead, you'd probably take it, huh?
Well, I'll take it. You know, we surround Ruben with some awful good players. Ruben's got to look for a shot. Our other kids got to look for Ruben as well. So it's a hand-in-hand thing, but we got to go in and make a lot of adjustments. We didn't handle ourselves very well, so we'll play a better second half.
And certainly the last couple of minutes, I know you weren't too happy with the execution there, huh?
No, we're very crisp. It's got to get better if we're going to prevail.
All right, good luck in the second.
Thank you.
All right, his club is ahead, but he says his team's got a little work to do yet. Jim?
Thanks, Kurt. Now, when a coach says we'll play better in the second half, that translation means I'm going into the locker room and I'm going to lay down the law.
Yeah, I think they're going to get a little pep talk here at halftime.
We're back with more at the half after these local messages.
Choreographed by Gina Kennedy for one of the groups of the entertainers from the Chicago Bulls. Disney World, the Orange Bowl, Miami, more time maybe. They might have back to be against the Disney World Magic Kingdom this spring.
All right, halftime of the second state semifinal with Bureau Valley leading Pana 32-28. The last time that Pana won a state championship was 1988. They beat Pinckneyville. Pana has a chance to get back to the state championship tonight to play Pinckneyville, already there. Tom Funneman was the co-captain back then in 1988 of that state championship team. I know every time you think of that state championship year, there must be great memories.
Oh yeah, it is. It's an unbelievable feeling to be down here on this court to play in front of thousands of people, and the adrenaline's flowing, and you're just on top of your game when you're up here.
Do you see any similarities between this year's club and the club that you had back in '88 that won the championship?
There's a few similarities. I think our squad, we played better defensively. These guys got unbelievable firepower here, though. They got anybody come off the bench and score. Where we had our few that could score, but we played some great D.
And you're still obviously attached to the program. You're here to watch Pana. You've got a couple of relatives on the team. You're friends with a lot of the guys, so you haven't wandered far from the organization.
No, I haven't. I try to follow these guys as much as I can. I occasionally get out and play with them if I can, but it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was my next question. When you practice with them, who wins?
I let them win.
This is fun, though, isn't it, to see Pana back in the finals or in the semis?
Yes, it is. It's a lot of fun. It's different as a spectator. It's just more nervous sitting up there in them stands than it is out here on the court.
Well, have a good second half, all right?
Okay, thank you.
All right, Tom Funneman, who was the co-captain of the '88 Pana Panthers State Championship. Back with more halftime here. Bureau Valley up by 4, after these messages and a local break.
Welcome back to the Peoria Civic Center, everybody. We're trying to decide who will play Pinckneyville in tonight's championship game of the Class State A tournament. And, of course, it's still anybody's ball game between Pana and Bureau Valley. The Storm did not play a great first half. You heard their coach, Brad Bickett, respond during the halftime interview. And, of course, in Pana's corner right now, we're looking at the threes. They put them in the microwave. They got them warm, and they brought them out in the second quarter. And they now have 15 threes made in the last 6 quarters, 5 here in the first half.
Well, and they really struggled initially in the first quarter with that 1-3-1 trap, and then they made some adjustments, and they seemed to be a little bit more comfortable with it. And then I think Bureau Valley got caught playing zone man-to-man. They switched their defenses a little too much, and I think that at halftime he's got to make adjustments. I'd stick with that 1-3-1, maybe extend it a little bit, try to put pressure on Pana. When Pana did get the pressure, they seemed to get disrupted offensively, never really got on track until you said towards the end of the second quarter.
And, of course, who got him on track? Was it Shrake? Was it Sinclair? Oh, no. It was Pee Wee. Pee Wee came off the bench, and Troy Pinkston nailed that three, and that seemed to give him some juice.
Yeah, I thought Josh Evans, too, coming off the bench. He played really well in the paint. So, really, Pana's bench came through for him. A couple of guys struggled, but I thought McDowell played great defense on Slock. Really slowed him down and got him frustrated.
And, of course, we have some numbers for you to take a look at. Bureau Valley with that lead as we speak, but take a look at the field goal percentage. Obviously, right on the 50% mark for Bureau Valley. Free throws, not really a factor on either side. Rebounds pretty even, and I think that's something that Pana has to do again in the second half if they're going to win this ball game.
Yeah, I think that's something they got to stress. Team rebounding, they did an excellent job in the first half.
Taking a look at the top scorers here at the break, we mentioned what a great game Phil Endress and Mike Behrens were having, and that shows on the scoreboard as well, both with 9, and John Elliott with 7. And again, if you're looking for that name, Ruben Slock, he is 1 of 4, and that one a three-pointer, his first shot of the game. Shrake warming up to 8, Sinclair with 6, and McMillan buried a 3 as well. So it's kind of a team effort on both sides of this fence.
Yeah, I thought Shrake and Sinclair really did a good job, and towards the end of the second quarter where they really respond offensively. And that's what Gary Boker's got to stress at halftime. Hey, guys, let's continue what we did towards the end of this. We figured this thing out. Let's stay with it. You know, don't let that pressure get to us. Stay patient.
What I'm trying to figure out here, and I love this about the Class A tournament, because you take a town like Manlius, and granted, they have 4 schools now that they incorporated 6 years ago, but can you shut a town down like you can like a store, like it's 10 o'clock and we're closed? Because I got a feeling everybody in Manlius is in this house and not in their houses.
Yeah, I think the whole town is here right now. They're over at Pierre Marquette or trying to get tickets.
So Bureau Valley, of course, they were in the same position last year on this very given semifinal day, and they lost, of course, and then came back and won the 3rd place game. So that's something that Brad Bickett can obviously use for his halftime speech, saying, hey, let's not repeat what we did last year. Well, we're pausing after these local messages. Right back. Hey, I already got a pen, man. Ruben Slock and his teammates are back out on the court first here, leading by 4 over Pana. And of course, when you get to this part of the game, Doug Altenberger, I'm Jim Albrecht. When you get to this part with about 16 minutes of regulation left and you're Ruben Slock, and it may be your last game, of course, besides the consolation game, and you've worked so hard, you can almost feel the intensity as he came by here. I mean, he's going to be the guy that is either going to make the difference in the second half or Payne's going to take over.
Yeah, and it's important that he stays out of foul trouble. Got 2 in the first half, and they set him down with about a minute to go. Smart play, but and he's key for them. He's got to stay out of foul trouble.
Let's take a look at some of those highlights right now. Of course, we'll start with Pana. Brian McMillan, one of their guards, and he's not one of the more heralded players, but he started off this game in good shape.
Yeah, the dynamic duo, the guards, they were a little slow getting going, but not Brian McMillan. He hit a couple J's from the outside and offensively tried to get his team on track. And there you see the nice dish by Sinclair, and he sets it up and rebounding. He was doing it all there early in the first quarter.
Nice move by McMillan again, and you saw all 5 of his first half points. We'll go to the other side of the court now, where Bureau Valley holds court.
And they did a really good, I thought they were real successful, was getting in the paint area. They got a lot of easy buckets inside. Pana really wants to seal that off. Make Bureau Valley beat you from the outside. That's not their strength. They love to get the ball in the paint and pound it inside, and that's what they did pretty well and successfully.
Let's go to Kurt Pegler with the man who trails by 4 at the break.
All right, Jim. Yeah, Pana head coach Gary Boker with us. I know that your team went through a couple of those scoring droughts in the first and second quarters, and that's really what put you behind.
We talked about it at halftime, that we haven't shot the ball as well as we know we're capable of. So we expect to come out in the second half and do some good things. And we felt like we were getting some good shots. They just didn't go in for us. So as long as we keep getting good shots, we'll take our chances.
You certainly feel like you're still in this thing without question, even though you didn't play well in the first half.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, we got some players who can really light it up in a hurry, and we can make some big runs. We've done it all year long. So that's all we're hoping for right now, is to have a chance to win at the end.
Thanks, Coach.
That's a good ball club.
Good luck in the second half. All right, his team is down by 4, 32-28. Jim?
Thanks a lot, Kurt. And, of course, we'll get back to the discussion about basketball after this on the IHSA TV network. From a player standpoint, having played on the second-place team for Ohio, a team that went all the way to state with just 69 students enrolled. So he was quite the basketball player, scored over 2,100 points. And there you see Gary Boker, who said, hey, we can light it up. And what he's referring to, of course, is Justin Schrake and that spectacular performance in the super sectional. Schrake broke 4 Class A Decatur SS records. Points scored, 3s hit. He hit 10 in one game. 3s taken, 13. Here's Sinclair. And the ball game is down to a bucket, 32-30, with Bureau Valley having the lead in the basketball right now. I like the way, oh, here's a bad pass. Elliott thought that Slock was breaking out, but Slock was making a cut to the basket, and the misconnection results in a turnover.
And a lot of times, again, we talked about McDowell, the great defense that he played, and he continues to really frustrate and face guard. Slock does a good job of getting in the passing lane and forcing that turnover.
Can you imagine 10 threes in a game? It's like a season for a lot of people. Down, nice pass to Evans. And give J.I. McDowell the tying assist. We got a 30-second timeout coming up. Brad Bickett spent the halftime talking about what was supposed to go right, and it's all going wrong in the first minute because the first 4 points belong to the guys from the other side, as Pana has knotted things up at 32.
Now, a lot of coaches say, the 2 most important parts of the game is beginning of the game, obviously, and then coming out that third quarter, that first 2 or 3 minutes, reestablishing yourself. And that's what Pana does. Pana came out offensively very aggressive.
There's the old Schrake and Bake we were talking about. And, of course, setting all those records against Meridian in the Decatur Super Sectional. What was your high total, Doug Altenberger? Wasn't it, let me guess, 89? No, that was the year, I'm sorry.
Well, Gary Boker's got to be feeling pretty good to have offensively have his team really come out much sharper than at the beginning of the game. And you can see when Sinclair, and he can get those guys involved and Schrake, like you said, those guys have got to get their touches. They're your go-to guys.
And just for the curious, 55, I believe, is Doug Altenberger's career high in a game. Here's a pass down low. Behrens does a nice job of fighting for it and knocking it down. What could have been a turnover results in a bucket for Bureau Valley.
Behrens really gotten some really good hands there. A lot of white jerseys in there, was able to show his strength and put it back up.
Sinclair didn't like what he saw, so he'll set it back up. And there, good head fake. Can Shrake get it? No, but he gets it right back and cranks up the offense. Down low he goes, up, and it's good by Jake Sinclair. He found his running mate down low.
Yeah.
Brad Bickett
was just telling him, Ruben, to block out. One of the things, again, offensively, you start to struggle, and it affects other parts of your game as defensively.
Slock with his move. It's short. Rebound. Comes down to Pana. They're going for the lead. Shrake over to Sinclair. Stop. Glass, too much glass. But the ball will remain in Pana's end of the court. And he didn't tell Slock to box out. He asked the question, are you going to box out?
Well, right now you can see the tempo much more comfortable for Pana. Bureau Valley looks a little rushed offensively and defensively a little confused.
Sinclair forces and he won't go down. Everything but the net, but he goes to the free throw line for a pair, and that foul against Phil Endress.
That's the second time they've run that out of bounds play where they go sort of behind the basket, they go back door, and Sinclair gets to the free throw line.
A 72% free throw shooter on the year, averaging 16 points a game. You get a good look at the senior.
And I think it was very important for Pana to come out here very aggressive offensively and have some early success, get their confidence back, because they were a little shaken in that first half.
Pana's first lead since 5:31 in the first quarter. A pair of free throws, and now you can hear the Panther fans on their feet in the background. And when you take a lead, you can just see the momentum shift. You can see the energy level shift to the guys in the white jerseys, and Bureau Valley has to counter that. Elliott driving, hanging. He had that partially blocked. Rebound Evans, and Pana has taken over here in the third quarter.
And you know, we talked about Sinclair and Shrake, but McDowell is the guy that's playing the defense. Brad Pickett and Bureau Valley's trying to get the ball into Ruben Slock, but he is just doing a great job of denying him the basketball. If he doesn't get the basketball, he can't score.
And as everybody who lives in Pana knows, 1988, the magic year when Charlie Strasburger and his team beat Pinckneyville for the state championship. I believe there's a shrine somewhere in Pana where people go pay homage, because that is what Coach Gary Boker and this team is trying to live up to.
Well, if they win today, there's going to be some people at that shrine between now and 8 o'clock.
Shrake forced that one with two defenders on him. It resulted in a jump ball, and the arrow is pointing Bureau Valley's way, and the Storm is coming down to try to tie this game or take the lead with a three.
They just need to get Shrake going a little bit. Sinclair much more comfortable offensively. Shrake needs to look and work hard without the basketball. Look for that shot behind the three-point line.
Elliott left open 4-3. Not there. Rebound nicely done. Gutsaw, count it. That was a flying rebound, folks. He came from the other side of the lane to put it back. McMillan and Sinclair playing a little catch out front. 4:40 remaining here in the third quarter. Sinclair, he controls that ball so well. Sinclair gets a turnover about once every solar eclipse, I think. Sinclair has two guys jump out on him. Pana not in the mood to force anything right now, with the game tied at 36s. Open is McDowell, short. Ball's loose on the floor. Good hustle, headed out of bounds. What's the call? Timeout, Pana. Good call. That's what you do when you fall on the ball. And you're that close to the sideline. Give it up to the official. .409 remaining here in the third quarter. And don't forget, tonight we'll bring you the state championship game against either Pana and Pinckneyville or Bureau Valley and Pinckneyville. And right now, if you're a Bureau Valley fan, you're going, no, not again. Not that third place is a bad deal. Believe me, they've already got one third place trophy in the lobby now, but they'd like to up the hardware if they could. And of course, we'll be On the air, Doug Altenberger and myself, Jim Albrecht, after the third-place game. And, of course, Pierre Pierce will be trying to set the tournament record for scoring. I think he needs to drop in about 48 to pass up a guy named Jay Scheidler.
There you see Bureau Valley, top rebounding team in the tourney. But you know what? Right now, Pana is really dictating the tempo. Bureau Valley really sort of struggling with what's going on out there. Gary Booker making some nice adjustments and really is in good control. Even score, this is what he wants. More of a guard-oriented game right now. Bureau Valley wants to get the ball inside and having a hard time of doing it.
And Endress is dogging Schrake. If you're wondering where their three-point marksman is, there's the matchup. Schrake and Bake. Yeah.
And Endress played great defense, stayed with Schrake, and Schrake goes straight up. Like what his coach says, some of the shots he shoots, you know, we don't always like, but I can't put the reins on him. Got to let him give him the green light and let him go.
Yeah, that's the old joke. No, 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 no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bureau Valley trying to get it into Slock. Slock with a nice dish down low to Behrens, but he comes up short. Rebound, Gutsall back up. Count it. Gutsall playing a gutsy game here in the third quarter, especially around the glass.
Well, I think Bickett wants to get the ball inside, so you're going to see Gutsall and Behrens and Endress, all those guys try to get it in the paint area.
McMillan forces a pass, and after it is McDowell, and he's fouled for his efforts.
Pana really lucky to get a foul out of there. There was a lot of blue jerseys. Thought they came up with the turnover, Bureau Valley, and then frustrated gets called for the foul.
John Elliott picks up the personal foul. We're back with more of an exciting semifinal game from the Peoria Civic Center after these local messages.
Teams gathered along the sidelines, grouped around their coaches. This is a moment of terrific tension for these youngsters. They're 8 minutes away from a game's end that can go either way. And the result of the game is the biggest moment of their lives, and the lives of their rooters, too, as you can see. The state championship of 1962.
That may have been the oldest cheerleader I've ever seen, but he had so much energy. And, of course, Pana, Sweet 16 appearance back in 1946 is what you were looking at as we reflect back on all these great memories. Finally, a highlight before I was born. Finally. There you see Gary Boker now. He had 3 of the players from the 88 team that won the state championship in to talk to his young men the night before they embarked on their trip to Peoria. Tom Funneman, who you've already heard from today, Mark Heaton and Travis Sims all talked about what kind of pressure's down here, how they're going to feel, get over the nervousness, and I think that can't be a negative. Under 3 minutes here in the third quarter. McDowell playing catch out front. In the ball game is Steve Carroll with that black forearm band. There's a long jumper by Schrake. That's not there. Rebound McDowell. He's doing it again. He's going back up, and he's going to the free throw line. Well, when you miss the threes and you get the board, that's going to drive Brad Bickett nuts.
Well, I love this guy, McDowell. I mean, he's just out there like doing all the dirty work. for Gary Boker and Pana. I mean, he's playing the great defense, slowing down Slock, really frustrating him, and then now he's starting to have some success on the offensive in the paint area.
In military terms, Shrake and Sinclair are the Air Force, and Mr. McDowell is the Marines.
Yeah, he's in the trenches right now.
Trying to give his team a lead, and does, with 1 of 2 from the free throw line. No pressure as Pana waits defensively for Bureau Valley. Phil Endress, he's got his shot from 16, nails it. Brad Bickett is requesting that Pana keeps their hands off his jump shooters to the official. I'm sure the official appreciated that.
They're always looking for a little advice.
40-39. What a ball game we've got here to see who will go to the state championship game of Class A here at the Peoria Civic Center. We've had some dandies ever since it's moved here, and this looks to be another one. We've got a kick.
Now, I like what Bureau Valley now coming out with that 1-3-1. Get Slock more involved defensively. Get him going again. As soon as they went with that man-to-man, they struggled, especially offensively. It became a little bit more passive.
Pana has outscored Bureau Valley 11-8 in this quarter. And there is a good hustle play by Josh Evans. I don't know how he came out of there with it, with Slock and a mate all over him, but he did. Here's the give, the go, down low, fade away, not there. And we're coming the other way. Todd Byers couldn't get the shot to fall. And now Bureau Valley can take a 3-point lead.
Shrake on the bench right now. Not any other really good three-point shooters out there. He's their go-to guy offensively. See who will step up.
Gutsall's looking inside. Here's Slock, and he didn't get it in and out, and the ball's headed out of bounds and saved by Pana, and we're going to have a foul against Bureau Valley.
Well, great hustle by Sinclair. It looked like Barron's definitely had that offensive put back in. Wasn't able to go down, then he hustled after it and gets called for the foul. Great hustle, both teams.
5 team fouls on Bureau Valley, and get this, Doug. Zippo.
And that's the 3rd foul on Slock. So you see the field goals there. Everything's starting to go Pana's way right now. Feeling a little more comfortable, but Bureau Valley holding on with a 1-point lead.
Pana up to 41% after the cold start, and actually coming back the other way is Bureau Valley down to 48%. They came at the half with a 50% accuracy rating. Minute 28 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. And Sinclair's hanging loose. Rebound fought for, and coming out of there with it is Gutsall. He had a battle on his hands with Josh Evans, and he won it.
And it's important for Bureau Valley really to stay out of foul trouble. They like to stay with their 5 starters, do have a bench. But Brad Pickett really doesn't go much to the bench right now. And Slock with 3 fouls, and the rest of these guys got to be really careful. Might have to go back to a zone.
Todd Byers with the first personal on Pana in this half, as Elliott sets the play in motion. Number 20, looking. Brandon Bowman, wearing number 24, is in the ball game now for Bureau Valley. Here's an interior pass, and it's stolen away by McDowell, but he gave it right back up to Nathan Koenig. Well, a tough break for Pana, but an ever-present sophomore by the name of Nathan Koenig giving his team a 3-point lead.
Whatever you do, you don't throw the ball back out of bounds underneath the opponent's basket. And fortunately, McDowell threw it right to Bureau Valley. We're able to put it for the putback. Easy bucket for him.
If Pana's on their game, they'll probably have a 3 or a backdoor play to Sinclair, who got in too close and got too much rim.
Great intimidation by Barons. Comes over with help defense. Didn't get the block to cause the missed shot.
So Bureau Valley, who struggled early here in the 3rd quarter, has righted the ship, and we've got a timeout for Brad Bickett and the Bureau Valley Storm. Bickett wants a 30-second timeout to talk over this final 17 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, and they have withstood the charge with a couple of nice.
Yeah, for Brad Pickett, like you said, Jim, that's great, because right now you think, hey, we took the best shot, and we're still up by 3.
And of course, don't forget the Class A slam dunk. Here's Brad Pickett.
Okay, make sure we want to get flat shot. Can you take your man off the dribble?
Okay, then we're going to go flat. We got swing shooter. We'll Phil go flat. Okay, we'll go flat with Phil. So your spot up this spot.
Gary Boker walking back to the bench after talking to his team. He really wanted that layup from Sinclair because the play worked perfectly, but as you mentioned, Barron's coming across the lane, intimidated Sinclair's shot. He had to readjust, and he didn't finish.
Well, and I think you're seeing one of the strengths of Bureau Valley is their depth. I mean, they've got 4 or 5 guys. You know, their go-to guy is Ruben Slock, but the rest of these guys, you know, can play. They've been together a long time. They know what it takes. And Barons and Endress and Elliott, all these guys have just stepped up and have picked up the slack.
With the basketball, of course, was Slock, and now they'll set things up. They didn't run it this last second drill well at the beginning, or I should say at the end of the first half. They'll try to make up for it here. Pretty shot by Phil Endress. Endress gets it done. Here's about a 50-footer. That'll be short. And the final minute of the third quarter belongs to Bureau Valley, as does the lead. 44-39, despite the fact that Ruben Slock has been awful quiet. We're back after these local messages. This is how we saw things shaping up before this game tipped off, and now with 8 minutes left to go, let's see how Bureau Valley has done. They haven't done too badly, stopping the three-point binges of Pana. Pana right now, they are 5 of 15 from the three-point arc, so that's not too bad. Obviously, the half-court trap is no longer effective because Payne just going right through that.
Payne did not make a three-point attempt behind the arc in the third quarter, so good defense. Really did a nice balanced scoring attack has been the key for them. Really came out, and for Payne, they found the rhythm offensively, and they've done a great job on Slock, but the half-court trap, it has provided difficulties, but really haven't forced turnovers.
Schraik does not get it, and now Bureau Valley can really take advantage. But after the basketball, I was going to say football because it looks like J.I. McDowell might be playing that game. What is the call? Is it a jump ball? That looks to be the call. Arrow pointing in the way of Bureau Valley, and right now, when they can least afford it, Pena has grown cold. Elliott shut off there by McDowell, so he'll go back out front. Now Sinclair tried to get the steal, so Elliott will go right back the other way. Slock was open for a second. Now it's Gutzall down to Slock. Nice drop pass over and under. And Phil Endress. And Bureau Valley has taken charge. Their biggest lead in a while, 7.
Well, Endress really coming up big here in the second half. Great delivery by Ruben Slock with a tough bounce pass cross court.
And not all the pressure is on the three-point shooters, but it's going to come to bear here real soon. There's one by Sinclair. Not there. Rebound. McDowell back up. A leaner got it. That stops the drought for the Panthers, and they needed it in the worst way. They're down by 5. Slock fakes the 3, takes the 17-footer.
McDowell been dogging him all game, starting to get a little tired out there. Slock just keeps going, looks as fresh as he did at the beginning of the game.
Payne almost threw it away. That's his first basket, Slock's, since 7:37 remaining in the first quarter, folks. But again, he's that kind of player. I mean, if somebody's dogging him and the offense isn't coming to him, he's not going to lighten up on defense. He's going to distribute.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to keep playing hard. I mean, players play, as my old coach used to say. He's definitely a player, and he comes out every time. Every series, he plays it like it's the last series.
Look at Andrus on Schrake, and Schrake gets it to fall anywhere. Justin Schrake could not get the long jumper, so he took it inside. And he'll go to the free throw line for the conventional three.
And this was a big bucket for Pana. They needed some O from their man, and he comes in, and it was a tough drive. Takes the baseline, takes Andrus, and goes through a couple blue jerseys and is able to convert it, finish it. Now he goes to the free throw line for the three-point play.
And of course, their best free throw shooter is standing 15 feet away right now. As out comes Behrens, and that was a pretty big foul because that's number 4 on the center for Bureau Valley. But again, as we mentioned, they have pretty good depth. And the three-point play is in the books, and now let's see how Bureau Valley can counter. A lot of time left and a foul coming up court. That'll go against Sinclair. Bureau Valley has 16 fouls at this point. Sinclair has 1, and his team has only 2. So that's a.
And Jim, that's a good point. Right now, Pana wants to shoot the 3, but don't let him off the hook. Get to the free throw line. You're in the bonus. Another steps up, and another big shot.
Andrus is on fire, folks. 51-44.
Maybe they should put McDowell on him.
A steal. Slock is going to go down, and look at it. Slock started the turnover and finished it. And that's a big turnaround, a 9-point lead for Bureau Valley, and we had been nip and tuck most of the second and third quarters. We're back to see if Pana can come back after this on the IHSA TV network. This broadcast is the exclusive property of the Illinois High School Association. Any rebroadcast or reproduction of any part of the telecast without the express written permission of the Illinois High School Association is strictly prohibited. Bureau Valley's got a lot of guns, Doug, and we're seeing that right now. Without their major man, the 17-point scorer, and their leading rebounder, Ruben Slock, it hasn't made a dent.
Yeah, and it's been a total team effort. Everybody stepped up. You look at Andrus, Elliott, Gutschall comes in there, and Behrens. I mean, you just look down that whole starting 5, and there's really no weakness. And Pana just has slipped a couple times, and when they have, Bureau Valley's taken advantage of it.
Well, let's see if the threes are going to dominate for Pana.
And right now, Bureau Valley really extending their defense man-to-man.
Sinclair hits a big basket. It's not a 3, but a big basket nonetheless, and pulls his team back to within 7. They don't have to get it all back in one fell swoop. They know that. Behrens, who's been beyond solid here in this game, has the ball at the top of the key. Slock, not going to force things now. With 5:20 remaining here. Wide open is Gutschall, but that's not his shot. And coming over for the foul is Justin Schrake. Slock has 7. Gutschall has 8. Elliott has 7. Andrus has 18. And Behrens has 11. That's balance.
Yeah, in Bureau Valley, good patience offensively. Don't want to take a quick shot. Take some time off the clock. Still run your offense.
Almost to steal, and now I think it did create the turnover as John Elliott had to step out of bounds trying to save it. Looking at the points on the Pana side of the board, 27 combined with Sinclair and Schrake. The 6th turnover now for Bureau Valley.
And I'm just going to say, limit your turnovers. And right on there, before I get the words out of my mouth, Pana does a good job of forcing the turnover.
Got to take advantage of the turnover. That's what wins basketball games. Just not creating them, but taking advantage of them. Hanging is Sinclair. It'll go. It'll go. Didn't think it was at first, but it climbed on in, and we're down to a 5-point Bureau Valley lead. Here's contact and a foul on Sinclair.
On Jake Sinclair, his second.
McMillan, Shrake, Sinclair, McDowell, and Evans in the ball game. The starting five for Pana, trying to come back from a 9-point deficit. That was staring. Here's the steal by Shrake. He's alone. Down he goes. Not contested. Yes, it is, and a foul. I thought he was going to let him slide by, Doug, but Shrake took it to the rack. And now we could have ourselves a 3-point ball game because he's a darn good free throw shooter.
Well, the young sophomore for Bureau Valley, Nathan Cunning, is really sort of struggling out there with the turnovers. They go at him, they force the turnover, and Shrake goes to the free throw line.
And gets the first. Shrake now with 14.
And the key here is they're stopping the clock and getting the free throw line and get back in this ball game.
Is there anything prettier than, of course, one of your daughters, Doug, in a Sunday dress, than a good free throw shooter? I don't think so. Brad Bickett wants to talk it over. His team sees their lead reduced to 3. We are back after this on the IHSA TV network. There you see one of our scholar athletes, and of course you've seen him play out front in this game. John Elliott, the Midwest Dairy Association Local Dairy Farmer Award. Heading for the University of Illinois, trying to follow in the footsteps of Doug Altenberger. Good luck. And of course we have Brian McMillan as well, another starter and another winner in the classroom. Is that his grade point average? My goodness.
Yeah, it's almost perfect. I think 5 would be perfect, but he's played just tremendous defense. He's really stepped up, hit some jump shots. He's played with a lot of heart.
Yes, the power of cheese, the power of the Dairy Association. Last night, of course, as we told you earlier on, Pana hit 10 3-pointers. Lit this joint up, let me tell you. Today they have only 5, and those all occurred in the first half. Do they have any left? That's the great thing about Ruben Slock. He can bring the ball up for you. Hasn't decided on a college yet, but believe me, he's got plenty of offers. He's like a supermodel looking for a date. It's not a problem. Out front, the long jumper won't go, but the rebound, Barron saves it, but it's picked up by Pana. Shrake stepped in front. And here they come. A 3 will tie it. Shrake's going to drive, force the issue. Jump ball. Jump ball. Great defensive play by Mike Behrens with 4 fouls on it. That's a gutsy play.
Yeah, it sure is gutsy. When you've got 4 fouls, you want to be really careful. But Behrens takes a gamble, takes the risk, and it pays off.
Fortunately for Pana, the arrow was pointed their way, so they get another chance here. Sinclair, he sees a lane, and oh man, is he sweet. He is sweet with the basketball, and he's fouled out front.
See, that's the key for these guys. Bureau Valley putting a lot of pressure, not allowing to shoot that 3-point shot. Good recognition, and they're taking it on the drive, getting to the free throw line. That's how they're getting back into this ball game.
And when you have 2 guards, and there you see the leading scorers, Endress has the 18 to lead everybody, but Sinclair and Shrake are combining for another great game. And when you have 2 guards like Shrake and Sinclair that are pretty solid from the free throw line, that's just another added dimension.
Well, they've got to make the adjustments, put the ball on the floor, even forget about the 3-point, just get to the free throw line. Both of them are excellent free throw shooters.
Well, they were down by 9, but folks, they're only down by 1 now. Bureau Valley has got to respond. Let's see how they do. Endress has been the man. Slock has not found his offensive groove because that man has been all over him. J.I. McDowell dogging him, and the turnover. Payne's coming down with a chance to take the lead, and Ruben Slock says, we need to talk this over, man. He'll head to the huddle where Brad Bickett will set his team down, and Gary Boker now is right back where he wants to be, and that is quite the comeback. They were down by 9 with 6 minutes left in the game. They've closed the gap in just over 2 minutes.
Well, why don't you take the ball to the basket? We haven't got anybody even near the paint area.
You got it out?
That's what's wrong with it.
Not out.
You guys are playing scared to death. Here's what we got to do. We've got to make some changes. Endress. Okay, Endress is going to guard number 24. You're going to guard Shrake, number 23. The rest of you match up. You've got 32.
If nothing's there, hey, we're in great shape.
You know what you're doing?
If nothing's there, if nothing's there, let's go flex. Never seen flex yet. Got it? If nothing's there, flex.
And of course, no truth to the rumor that coaching basketball causes you to lose your hair. That's not necessarily true all the time. Gary Boker, he'll give a couple of haircuts if he can pull this baby out. Don't forget tonight, it's all on the line. Pinckneyville is resting right now and waiting to see who they play. Either Pana, which trails by 1, or Bureau Valley, which has lost only 1 game all year, came in rated number 2 in the state and the top-rated team of the Elite 8.
Well, Brad Pickett's telling his team, let's calm down. We can't guard the free throw line. Stop putting them on there. Stay at home. You know, let's play good, tough defense. Offensively, let's calm down. Let's know what we're doing out there. And then Pana, I'm sure Gary Boker's telling his guys, let's not panic. We're down by 1 now. That's where we want to be with 4 minutes to go.
Jake Sinclair. More contact out front, and just what Doug Altenberger warned about happens. Another 1-and-1 and a chance to take the lead. Now, Sinclair came down last night after Farmington, which had a very, very nice, talented, and tall team, had taken the lead with a minute to go. Sinclair came down just like he was strolling through the mall looking for a burger, and drained a 3, and I mean a major 3 from way outside, and put his team back on top to stay. And now he's at the free throw line. You know, you mentioned you can't guard the free throw line. Some people shoot free throws like they are being guarded.
Well, Sinclair and Shrake, they made 14 of the last 22 points against Farmington. So you expect these guys, this is what they play for. Down the stretch, they're used to tight ball games. Now, Bureau Valley, you talked about, Jim, in the Open, they haven't had a lot of close games. So this is something that first time they've been tested in the state tournament.
Sinclair is 7 of 8 from the free throw line. He has 20 points to lead his team into the lead at 54-53. Don't go away. We've got 3:43 remaining in the game, and another dangerous pass gathered in by Elliott. Elliott looking and firing up a wild shot. Coming out of there with it is Sinclair. Pana is on a 10-5 run. And they're feeling it. The number 3 team was knocked off earlier in the semifinals. The number 2 team is in jeopardy as we speak.
Yeah, Elliott down here took a quick shot. Want to make sure that you got your guys, everybody down in that area. Not a wise shot to take. Again, don't want to panic right now. Pana much more in control of this game, even and up by 1.
Ruben Slock coming over to try to pinch. Sinclair breaks it easily. Here's McDowell inside. They're looking for Shrake for 3. Yeah! Shrake drains it. It's 57-53, and now the onus is on Bureau Valley, and a foul in the backcourt by J.R. McDowell, who has it to give. That's only the 15th foul. That was a big shot.
What is ever a big shot. Sinclair hits the 2 free throws before. Now Shrake steps up and hits it from somewhere near the riverbank, Illinois River. I mean, he hit that from downtown.
That's his 3rd of the day as we go back to live action inside the Slock, who is fouled by J.I. McDowell. And McDowell now has his 3rd foul, and that, of course, will be the 6th team foul. 1 more puts him in the bonus. And that actually was a good foul where Ruben Slock had the ball. That's usually where it's pretty much in the bank. The Storm trailing by, here's a bad pass in the backcourt. McDowell's after it. Can he get it? Yes! He puts it up and misses it. He put it up and missed it, and the ball's coming back the other way.
McDowell, what a great effort. Out-hustled Ruben Slock, got down there, almost puts it back in, and he just can't believe he missed the bunny.
And that could have turned this thing around, and it wasn't a regular bunny because he had to stop his momentum. He had to lean back underneath the basket and try to put it down with Slock all over him. The Storm needs something from Behrens, and they don't get it. Rebound fought for. Behrens is in there. The rebound is back up and in by Gutsall. And Gutsall cuts it to a 2-point game, and what a game this is. Man, Adam Gutsall hadn't been heard from in the last few minutes, but that's a big offensive rebound. I'll tell you what, you don't want Shrake to be loose right now. McDowell with a nice head fake.
Don't want to get that ball in the corner, especially with a 1-3-1 half-court trap. You want to keep it out in front of you.
2 minutes left. Pana hanging on to a 2-point lead.
The bad spot in there.
McDowell fakes. Wants the 3. No. Rebound underneath Evans. That's going to count. That's going misfire and put it back in.
And Josh Evans, again, you forget about him. He operates in the middle, especially when they go to that zone. No one blocks him out. That's when you go to the zone. You really got to communicate. Ball drops right in front of him. Big bucket.
That was kind of a gift. It came right to him. Delivered by UPS almost. Slock. Yes! Ruben Slock said, my team needs me. He puts down the three, and it's a one-point ball game with 1:34 remaining in this semifinal game. 59-58. Well, Doug, there's something about this Illinois basketball tournament. It's just nothing but good basketball and a whole lot of fun, not to mention a lot of intensity.
This is a tough shot. McDowell in his face, steps back, shoots right over the top. And you look for those clutch shots from your senior leader, and he steps up. Been pretty quiet most of the game offensively, but hits it down there. Right now, Brad Pickett's trying to figure out what we're going to do defensively. Really has struggles trying to stop Pana. They put him on their free throw line. He's tried the man-to-man. He's tried the trap. He's tried the zone, and nothing's been too successful.
Let's take a look at all those important numbers as we go through the 1:34 remaining on the clock. Fouls to give, obviously, Bureau Valley has none. Matter of fact, they don't really want to foul anybody because they already have 9 team fouls. Pana has a foul to give. Timeouts. Bureau Valley is out. And Pana has the edge there.
And it's important that Pana does have that. In case they do trap, they get in a spot where nowhere to go, they can call a quick timeout with 3.
Little tension there? Little tension? Some people yawn when they're tense. Me, I pace.
He's not yawning right there, I can tell you that. Gary Boker,
that last 3 gave Mr. Slock 10 points. He's got 7 in this fourth quarter. He's rising to the occasion, isn't he?
Well, you know, with 1:34 to go, he's going to be involved somehow, some way.
Here comes the full court pressure by the Storm of Bureau Valley. They've only lost 1 game all year to Fulton. And there is your press buster.
See how he keeps his dribble?
Sinclair.
Didn't pick up his dribble the whole time.
Nope, never give up the dribble. Now he gave up the dribble and has to use one of those timeouts. But they still have the ball on the offensive end of the court, and that's where they want to deal.
Well, you know,
it's
Bureau
a 30-second timeout.
You know they're going to press. I mean, they're going to try to trap, force a turnover. And when you do that, when you gamble, someone's got to be open. That's what Gary Boker's telling them right now. Look for the open guy.
There's your game reset. Pana looked to be dead in the water. At the beginning of the fourth quarter, they lost the momentum. They lost the lead. They trailed by 9. Now they have eclipsed the mountain. They lead it by 1. They have the basketball, but of course, Bureau Valley has the money man, Ruben Slock, the All-Stater.
And one thing about Pana, they might not have the depth or the balance, but I think they've got the better backcourt. They've got the guards. And with 1.5 minutes to go, that's where your guards take control. So Sinclair's got to take control of this game. He's the key for them. Get the ball in his hands. If he gets fouled, great free throw shooter. He'll make Bureau Valley pay.
They won't take a 3 unless, of course, it's wide open. They're going to try to work it down inside. McMillan in trouble. McMillan in trouble. Jump ball. And Bureau Valley, just like that, is coming the other way because the arrow was in their favor. Well, you can't give up your dribble, not against that trapping zone.
And you can't be passive in a 1-3. You always got to attack a half-court press. And if you try to back them out, a lot of times, everybody, you got to keep driving to the hole. Now, Bureau Valley, that's what they wanted, was a turnover.
Well, as the late Al McGuire used to say, it's white knuckle time, baby, and we are at 1 minute exactly. Endress, who's had a solid game, gives it up to Elliott. Here's the shot from Endress. It's off the mark. Rebound fought for, and Pana has the basketball and the lead with the clock running down. Brad Bickett says, just go back to your trapping zone. Sinclair. You don't want to put Sinclair or Schrake at the free throw line.
Yeah, too many white jerseys together.
Schrake has a man along the baseline. It's McDowell. It's up. It's gone. It's gone. It'll count. It'll count, and he goes to the free throw line. That's all Schrake right there. And, of course, the muscle man, McDowell. Watch Shrink. He's covered up. He has nowhere to go but inside. So he looks up, and there's McDowell.
And that's what we talked about. You can't be passive. You got to make things happen, especially in a half-court press. And McDowell, ironic that he gets the bucket.
Oh, he missed the free throw, and now we're going to have a foul called against Bureau Valley. Oh, man. They can come away here with a 4-point play.
And it gets Mike Behrens. That's 5 for him, and he's out.
And Behrens walks off the court with a very determined look, hoping his teammates can rally. Behrens has 5 fouls. He's gone. He finishes with 11 points. And let's see who they're sending to the free throw line for Pana, because that's big. It's one of their big men. It's probably Evans. It wasn't one of their guards, I don't believe. And there you see the disappointed Mike Behrens. He's a great player.
I think the scheme doesn't mean much to these guys. There's a lot of pain and hurt there, and he knows down by 3, and he's fouled out. He can't help. It's a helpless feeling.
Well, everybody always thinks about and concentrates on the glory of athletics, but believe me, the disappointment is just an equalizer. Here is Evans, a 60% free throw shooter.
And the plot thickens.
Gary Boker pacing the sidelines, waiting for his junior to make a free throw. He missed them both. He missed them both, and we got a jump ball, and I believe that's Pana's basketball. They have really crashed the boards when it comes to free throw rebounding.
You gotta block out if you're Bureau Valley. I mean, that's like a cardinal sin. Don't let Pana, great hustle, ties it up, arrow goes to them, and another break for them.
And Pana has missed 3 free throws here in the final minute. 3 straight, yet they lead by 3. Pass inside to Shrink. He is fouled, and that's not who you want to foul.
Well, they had him right where they want him, in the corner. There's where you don't want to foul. You want to just trap him, get the ball back out. He was in a really difficult position. Actually, Shrink was trying to call for a timeout. Luckily, he got the foul.
Shrink is 3 of 3 from the free throw line this afternoon. If he makes them both, he puts Bureau Valley in a sticky situation. 4 of 4. If he makes this one, and I'm venturing to say that he will, he'll have 20 points to join Mr. Sinclair at 20s. Bureau Valley coming in a hurry. Here comes Elliott. They've got to have a basket. Slock is shut off up front. He'll force the 3. Bad idea. Air ball. Pana's going to win this ball game if they don't turn it over. Ruben Slock was in a position where he was running out of time, and he tried to will in the 3, but right now Pana just has to get the ball in. Ooh, a tough pass. Sinclair has great hands, doesn't he? That was not an easy pass to field.
Yeah, and it looks like he jammed his thumb really hard.
And that's not, and it's his left thumb. But he's smiling.
Yeah, well, a W always does that. And right now he feels it. He's going to go to the title game on Saturday night for the Class A state tournament.
Boy, it looked like Bureau Valley had him.
Yeah, it really did.
They had him right where they wanted him. Up by 9 with 6 minutes remaining in the basketball game, and it got away.
But even when Bureau Valley was up, they really didn't feel that it seemed like they were playing Pana's game. Bureau Valley never really got going in the 3rd and 4th quarter, were establishing with their defensive intensity.
He missed them both. He got the ball back, and he's going back to the free throw line. Well, you got to feel bad for Bureau Valley because usually they dominate the inside game, and especially the boards, but they just haven't gotten it done. And of all things, on free throw shooting.
Well, and what's hurt him the last minute and a half is blocking out at free throws. And this is about the 4th time, Jim, that they've been able to get the rebound or tie it up and get the possession.
Sinclair, a 70% free throw shooter, is now 8 of 11 for the game. And if he makes this one, it's Pinckneyville and Pana. A pair of peas for the top prize. There you go. In a hurry is Elliott. Elliott is fouled from behind. That's not, but Gary Boker won it. He would rather have an anvil drop on his foot than have the clock stop right now.
Yeah, and right now he's pointing to his head. Guys, think out there. And Brian McMillan's got a great effort out there. You can't slow those guys down, but just want to think out there.
Well, because there's all kinds of scenarios. He makes the first, misses the second, they get the rebound, drain a three. Suddenly, you're at a three-point game again, and you still have 14 seconds remaining. So you never, ever want to stop that clock. Sinclair with a 22-point effort, and here is a foul on Pana again. And that would be a Pana look of expression on the face of Justin Schrake, who can't believe he stopped the clock again. Well, the fans who showed up here at the Peoria Civic Center, and of course another sold-out session. Sometimes you see empty seats, but that's because the fans from the first two teams may have taken off. But they're sold, believe me. And of course you ran into Ruben Slock's grandma before this ball game, and she was pumped up.
Yeah, she was pumped up. She said, you say, make sure you mention my grandson. I said, how can I not?
He tries to miss the free throw, but it bounces into the hands of Pana, and they will hang on here, go to the free throw line. Steve Carroll will make the trip down there. And, you know, a lot of people thought, and other people thought differently, but they thought they were going to see two All-Staters going against each other in the championship game. Instead, they're going to see Ruben Slock and Pierre Pierce go against each other in the consolation game. Endress has fouled out, and he ends this game with 18 strong points to lead the way for Bureau Valley. Brandon Bowman will check in for him, and a tough loss for Brad Bickett, who has been to the championship game as a player, was one game away last year as a coach, and again he'll come up one game shy this year. But what a program he's put together in the last few years. You know, Gary Boker said at the half, that wasn't the prettiest thing, but it counted. He said, hey, we're used to scoring. We score in bunches. We're not going to panic. You know, we got behind. And that's the kind of team they are when they get behind by 9. To them, it's like 3.
Well, you're going to look at the box score, and you're going to see Schrake and Sinclair. But, wow, they really did. But I thought the key for Pana was McDowell and Evans. McDowell played terrific defense against Ruben Slock, slowed him down, really got him frustrated out there. And then Josh Evans really came through and with some clutch baskets down the stretch.
Aaron Byers has checked in, and here comes the final shot of the game. It's on its way, and it's not there, and the rebound fittingly belongs to Joe I. McDowell, who did a number on the All-Stater Slock, who got a big bucket down the stretch, and Pana is facing Pinckneyville for the Class A state championship tonight. Both coaches meeting each other, and you know, we say Class A, but we can also say Class Act, because that's a very, very disappointed Brad Bickett. But hey, that's how you teach kids. Losing is part of life.
Well, I don't think Bureau Valley played that poorly. I think they played actually pretty good. Pana just played terrific. You knew Sinclair and Schrake would play great, but you didn't expect the other guys to play as well as they did.
Pana just kept coming back, down by 6 in the first quarter, down by 4 in the second quarter, down by 5 in the third quarter, and down by 9 early in the fourth quarter. And then they come back and they win it by 7.
And we talked about Bureau Valley really not having a close game the whole state tournament.
Yep.
Usually winning by 20 down the stretch. They made some tough calls, went against them, made some bad decisions, and Pana just eked it out. Like you said, didn't panic, stayed at home and won the game.
Kurt Pegler is standing by. Kurt, it's all yours, sir.
All right, guys, what an exciting finish. I tell you what, the Pana Panthers might be still on cloud 9. Let's talk a little bit about this ball game. First of all, Justin Schrake, you hit a big 3, and you hit a couple of clutch free throws in the final 2 minutes of this ball game, which really put your team ahead for good.
Yeah, my shot's been off for most of the night, and I get in, the great coaching staff pulled my hand out of my butt and told me to keep relaxing and shooting. I got great teammates once again. They found me when I was open, and I hit the big shot. I'll take it again and again if I have to.
Your team never gave up, Gary Boker. You were down by 9 points at one point. There were a lot of people that wanted you to throw in the towel. It never happened.
Oh, no, we never throw in the towel. We know we got big strike capabilities. This guy can knock down a lot of points. This guy can knock down a lot of points. And we got some other guys, and they'll get the ball to them, too, and they crash the boards. Everybody, just a whole team effort, and we picked up the defense. And once again, the defense is the reason we're here.
Jake Sinclair, too, some big shots towards the end. You guys never gave up despite being down. It looked like as the game wore on, you guys pulled closer and closer together.
We didn't knock down our shots in the first half. The second half, we got on a roll. Justin hit a couple big shots. You know, everybody played well in the second half. We played defense,
from the south, right?
And we won the game.
And Pinckneyville and Pana, just like in 1988, huh?
Oh, yeah, it's a big rivalry. People have been talking about this for a few months now, and it finally came true. Somebody predicted it on a little envelope back in his classroom in Pana, but we won't say who that was.
Congratulations, guys. A huge, huge come-from-behind victory for Pana. Down by 9 points in the second half. They come back and they win here in the second. Jim?
Thank you, Kurt. We appreciate that. Of course, they were wondering whether the South was going to rise again here in Class A, and the South is definitely going to do it again in some form or fashion tonight as Pana and Pinckneyville will face off for the championship game. The Slam Dunk Contest is coming up next after these local messages.